have this fire pit here in the backyard, and here's all of this ash. My son usually throws all of the branches and newspapers that come through here in the house in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this ash and put it into my bucket here and put it back in my compost pile. Since I did clean out my chicken coop today, I have lots and lots of waste. So this is the kind of ash that you're going to want. Just the good ash, or better known as potash. It has potassium in it. And I'm going to take this, and I've already kind of done a lot of it already. Just a couple handfuls, not too much. Just look for the good stuff in here. Don't look for anything that's really... And see how it's all broken down? And it's basically just ash. And we're going to put it in the compost. So let's go to the compost pile. So here is my compost pile. It starts actually from back there. If anything in the yard that has been cut down, trees, bushes, anything, I have the gardener put everything there. It looks like some potatoes and a sunflower is growing out of here. Sometimes you'll get the wildest things coming out of your compost. And this is pretty much what it is here. Let's see, let's get deep down into the soil so we can see what the soil looks like. This is what you're looking for in a good quality soil. You're looking for all of this organic material to break down. This is all going to eventually break down. You're going to see worms in here. You're going to see lots of earthworms. That's what you want to see when you get deep into the soil. When I came here, this was nothing but sand. See the earthworms in there? These little guys here are going to give worm castings to your soil, and that's what you want to do. And I go with a no-till method in my soil. I don't believe in tilling. I believe in the more return to Eden gardening and more natural way. I turn the soil, but I don't till it. And I let my chickens turn it too. So this is pretty deep down in here. So this soil is covered up pretty good. This is a combination of yard waste, chicken manure, shavings from the rabbits, the chickens, whatever in the yard we can do. There's rocks here and there, throw the rocks out. And we're gonna get some pretty good, see, more earthworms. I mean, you don't even have to dig that far and you're already seeing worms. So that's a good sign. Now I'm gonna put this potash in here, or ashes, whatever you wanna call. Potash has potassium. Your garden needs a little bit of everything. It needs phosphorus, potassium, calcium. So I do put the eggshells in here also from my chickens, and I let them break down in here. And obviously we get the nitrogen back from a lot of this chicken poop, and we also get nitrogen back from some of the weeds. If you look at these little clover weeds that you see back here in the corner, those give a lot of nitrogen back to the soil. So when that is done, I just kind of spread it out here. And you know, this is not a very big space yet. I want to eventually go all the way back there, but I have to get the rest of that part of the compost to break down. It's still too high up. And what I'm going to do with this garden here is I'm going to do something called a Three Sisters garden. What a Three Sisters garden is it's going to be corn, and in front of the corn will be the beans to trellis up the corn, and then on the bottom it's going to be squash to cover the ground to keep it cool. And the Three Sisters garden is actually a Native American method of gardening, which most of the indigenous peoples did use in the Americas before the Spaniards came. They obviously saw how they did their methods of gardening. So I just wanted to give a little tutorial on soil. This came out of the compost here. Must have been some marigold seeds I threw in here. But this looks really bad right now. I mean, it doesn't look the best because it's still working its way down. It all has to, and I won't till it, I'm going to turn it. So I will take my pick here, as you see, and I still have a lot of green materials here left from yard waste. And I will turn it every day and then wet it down and then turn it and wet it down. Maybe in about a week or two, it'll be good enough for me to add one layer of amend soil, start planting the corn, the beans, and the squash, and then on top of that a layer of compost, which would be a mulch, which would be either leaves or wood chips to hold the moisture into the ground. So we'll have to see how my Three Sisters garden turns out here, see what comes of it this year. more compost back there. I just let everything decompose in this yard. Nothing gets thrown away. I don't believe in wasting anything, even stuff from the kitchen. I don't know, people probably don't want to see inside your compost pile, but I have rind in here from pineapples, you name it, old flowers, old pumpkins, anything that I can get that I know will break down and give back to the earth, I will put it in this pile. So we'll see what happens. Keep homesteading.